I'll just make some introductory comments. Since we are recording, I'll be using this mic so that the sound engineer can pick up the sound and capture it. So you probably saw your little packets as you came in. So those are the first two albums that, in fact, I recorded, Step Up 2018 and Just One Moment in 2020. And so they're there as a CD form. But I'd mention what you're seeing is also Canadian Horizons, which is a very special project that Miles Black and I and a flugelhorn and trumpet player out of Dieppe, New Brunswick, put together. I knew this fellow before when I lived in New Brunswick. I was a professor at the University of New Brunswick, started studying jazz there in my 30s, and Roland Bourgeois was just a fabulous music educator and trumpeter. And so I invited him to, in fact, contribute to Just One Moment, the lead tune on the second album. And it led to this kind of informal discussion about every 6 weeks online with Miles Black, myself, and Roland. And so we actually created this album completely digitally. He's in Dieppe, New Brunswick. I was Fairview Slopes, and Miles was in Surrey. So the other thing I want to point out, you'll see this says Bandcamp. So it's only available digitally. You go to my Bandcamp, and all the albums are there. As well, this album, this fourth album that's going to be recorded tonight, I would hope that it'll be there sometime in the first part, early to mid-September. So when you look for it, go to my Bandcamp, and you'll find it and available digitally at some point in the future. So I'm also going to take you on a little bit of what I call a composer's journey, because it's a little bit different. To have usually you look at the charts of music and people say this is the composer and who wrote it, and the band plays it, and that's it. And you get the experience of what the band does. Tonight, I'm going to, in fact, introduce in a brief way, make narrative commentaries about each of the tunes that I've written, and then the band will perform them. Now, of course, a jazz band will do what they do with the stuff, and these wonderful musicians are going to, in fact, I know, do great things with this music. I look forward to hearing what they're going to do as well. So let's get underway. So the first tune coming up, the other thing I just wanted to mention, we're going to do instrumental, and then halfway towards the end, we'll invite Steve Maddock to come up, do vocals, just for logistics. So the first tune that we're going to listen to and they're going to perform is called, it's a tune that expresses the joy that my wife Sally and I had at adopting Benny, a Bengal cat who was about 16 years old when we got him. And he lived with us as a most wonderful companion all through COVID, and we're all in-house together, and we just had so much joy. And so that he liked listening to jazz. He would sit in the living room, we'd put Sally to bed. He'd put Sally to bed upstairs, and he'd come down and he'd hang out till 1 o'clock with me and listen to jazz and listen to me compose. And so this one is a tune in honor of him, and it was written while he was still alive and vibrant before we lost him. The title of this tune is called Benny, Bengal Boy. The second tune for the night, it's When Spoken. You'll hear the title, because when spoken, it's Root Canal. And every time I say that, people start grabbing for their teeth and panic. I remember when Miles and I were composing this, he says, he was just like shuddering at the thought of root canal. But the spelling of root canal is R-O-U-T-E, root canal. And so root and then canal suggest a pathway going towards somewhere. So this is root canal.
Yeah. The opening is short. Okay, you go to the coda right away on the other. 1, 2, 3.
During the first weeks of COVID-19, I found myself, I don't know, writing I wrote a three-part jazz suite. And so it was, in fact, written for guitar and first expressed with guitar. It's on the second album, but it's still very, very meaningful to me, and I think to all of us. So what we want to do tonight, and I'm really looking forward to hearing the quintet do this, we're going to take the first part one of the suite, and it's called In Relief. At one of my piano lessons with Miles, I studied jazz piano with Miles too. One of my favorite tunes I played with some jazz groups in Fredericton when we lived there. I always loved the tune "Beautiful Love." It's always been one of my most favorite tunes. And one day at one of the lessons, Miles says, "Well, why don't you write a contrafact to Beautiful Love?" He says, "What's the contrafact?" He says, "Well, you take the harmony, the chord changes exactly as they are, but you have to write a completely new melody line, otherwise you'll be sued." So I wrote a contrafact, and this one's called "Beyond Beautiful."
One, two, one, two.
So now you know what a contrafact is. So let's call, and now we're going to call our vocalist Steve Maddock to the front.
Are you going to introduce this?
Oh, I'm going to. Do you need a? Where's your mic? Is
It
it?
was right behind you.
Oh, I didn't know where it was.
Long arms, man.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you had to run around the room to find your mic. All right, this next tune is actually it's recorded on the second album, Just One Moment, and it is the signature tune of that album, Just One Moment. And as a composer, a lot of my music, my compositions arise almost like I'd say, very holistically and almost explosively. And I'm best at 9 o'clock to about 1 o'clock at night. As a graduate student, I used to be 2 to 4 in the morning, but those days are long gone, so that's gone. So this one arose. Sometimes the tune comes, sometimes the lyrics come, sometimes they arise together. This one surprised me. The lyrics and the music just all seem to come and arise at the same moment. And I said, what is this? Is it a romantic ballad or maybe a late life call from the universe? I don't know. This tune is called Just One Moment.
Right in?
One, two, one.
I wonder what, I wonder why, I wonder are you still dear to me? Maybe it's just that I can't see that you've always been here with me. Where should I look, or how can I see all of the things you mean? I'm wondering, I'm pondering, I wonder if you still care for me. Walking about, hoping to see any sign of where you might be. Should I keep hope? Can I still dream that you will seek and search for me? David. David.
That is one of my favorites. And it is on the second album, so you can go home and listen tonight if you have a CD player. So the next tune is again something that just I was just late at night just doing open-ended piano explorations, and the one thing I learned from the first years of trying to be a composer, if I didn't like something in the first 5 or 10 minutes, I would stop and I'd erase it, say, oh, it was no good, and you go nowhere. And then finally I got the idea: just keep playing. Just keep playing, let the tape recorder run. You can splice in later, you can erase later, you can do whatever you want. And so when I got that kind of confidence, I would sometimes just start playing the piano at night and just go somewhere. And this next tune arose from open-ended piano explorations. And I would call it a bouncy Latin number that elicits toe tapping. But it's lyrically got something the lyrics are a little bit unusual. I think it's a call to missing companionship. This tune is called Riff-On.
I'm alright, but I don't know, are you ever coming back? I'm hoping for a sign that you will soon be home again.
This is the last tune for before we break at the end of the first set. I just want to, in fact, acknowledge some of the tech support that's, in fact, making this possible for me to record this and get it ready for production as an album. It's the recording and sound engineer is Sheldon Saharko out there on the patio. Since I'm going to completely overhaul my website after this event and whatnot, I wanted to capture some of the features in audio video. So Karim Ratib is in fact the videographer for the night. And I've decided that, in fact, that this fourth album will be titled Live at the Silk Purse. And therefore, what we're going to do, I want to capture vistas and views, and I don't know how it'll all come together, of the building of that, and nothing of close-up of view, but just as you're walking about. And so it will be on the album panels. And so the photographer tonight doing that is Doug Williams. When Sally, my wife, and I moved to Vancouver 17 years ago, we lived in Fredericton in nice houses and we moved and we rented a sabbatical house from a UBC professor, and we were there, and then we had to buy something. And so we bought a condo, and we were in Fairview Slopes, just above Granville Island. We love it. But we just bought it, but we didn't know what we were getting into. It's called a strata. We never heard the word strata and had no idea. And so I've written a number of tunes, some of which are here, and some you'll hear in the second set, that are playful about my experiences of 17 years in strata as president, owner, and whatnot. But one of the ones that came up is that when a couple bought a unit on our floor, but they got themselves, their timing was wrong. They had to move out of their place months before. They had to get out. And so they were in the middle of their unit. Well, all the major rentals and tearing was going on. One day the doors opened, and Simon, the fellow there, he went zip, and he literally stepped out of a Ziplock bag in the middle of his condo. So I looked at that. It says, they're living in a Ziploc bag. So I wrote this tune as a playful expression of what it is. It is called Ziploc Bag Boys.
Someone show us a way to escape. We will pay you to have a new fate. I don't know if we'll ever see light. Please come help us. We sent you on here, we'll be grateful. Just help set us free. We are hoping for sunshiny days. The Ziploc bag boys, they're caught in between. The walls are not there, no taps can yet be seen. The Ziploc bag boys, they dream of a place. Once workmen are gone, they'll dance all around their space. lost in our condo. One heck of a mess, someone show us a way to escape. We will pay you to help a new fate. I don't know if we'll ever see light, please come help us. Since you are near, we'll be grateful, just help set us free. We are hoping for sunshiny days in the Ziplock bag boys. They're caught in between. The walls are not there, no taps can yet be seen. The Ziplock bag boys, they dream of a place. Once workmen are gone, they'll dance all around this place.
I can only say that every jazz composer should be blessed to have 5 brilliant musicians playing your work like these gentlemen. So just as we go to break again, I just want to say, on drums, Christian Brothen. On bass, Steve Holy. Tenor sax, Steve Kaldestad. Vocals and fabulous scat, Steve Maddock. And my supporter and mentor, Miles Black on piano. See you in about 15 or so minutes.